Hey, everybody.
Hi again. We're back.
Welcome to
A
another
dinosaur
side
story.
quest. God, every time. This side quest is something I've been wanting to get started for a while because, as you know, Russ and I aren't good music reviewers.
No.
And there are several episodes of Home on the RNG that do not have a musical expert with us. We had Lauren the Flute for a handful of episodes. We had Mike Hughes for a handful of episodes, and they both did amazing jobs. And we've had Chris with us reliably for quite some time, and he also always does an amazing job. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is occasionally we will do side quests where we will go back with Chris to games that we played that we did not have a musical expert for and talk about the music. So thank you for joining us, Chris.
Hello, good to be here.
And we're not making you talk about the music of Arcana or like...
I love the music of Arcana. I can talk about that.
Oh, we will make him talk about it one day.
My as long
dream,
as we don't have to talk about or play the game again.
My dream is that every game that we've had will at least have a musical expert talk about it in some way.
Yeah. Right on.
So,
and Lufia is a great choice.
Yes, we are here today to talk about the first 3 Lufia games because we have played all 3. We've played those 3.
Sweet.
Without Chris. And now Chris is here to talk about one of his favorite game franchises.
Well, I guess one of my favorites. I did play through all 5 games, so I do have that perspective of them. And in fact, found something I was not expecting is that the Game Boy Color one is my favorite.
It is an interesting one.
That is very interesting about that Game Boy Color game in particular. It's such a good Game Boy Color game.
Yeah, it really is.
Just in all areas.
Yeah, and like even the choice to make like the dungeons roguelike is really good to me because it means you can have more of them and not have to spend so much resources on that, and then be like the Lufia 2 remake where you just keep revisiting the same dungeon or the same bosses over and over and over. We're talking about music today, right?
We are. Yep.
Bring it on.
Okay, great. Well, so Lufia is like, it's a game that like when you talk to people about it, in my experience anyway, the thing that people will bring up is the music.
I had a fun moment after we had played the games early on in Home on the RNG's life when I learned how much Russ loved these games. I was at a concert, and it was The Returners, which is Lauren the Flute's band.
Oh, yeah.
And she started playing the opening to Lufia 2, I believe.
Yep, they have a whole Lufia medley.
So I called Russ's number on my phone, and I was like, there is a very significant chance this is not going to play out, because music, like concert music going through a phone, is usually going to come out really garbled. And it was so loud in the venue, obviously, I was not going to be able to talk to Russ. But I was like, this is Lufia music. Let me call Russ. And apparently it worked. He could hear.
It work.
Yeah,
and recognizable. Because I know that music so well.
Having worked with Lauren in a band prior to the Returners and my own bands, I can definitely say that the flute does tend to carry over just about anything. So it's really, really strategically a good move that, with the Returners and, when her and I were both in the first iteration of Descendants of Erdrick, where, and
which, again, is also a great band, and people should check that out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as great now that Chris isn't in it, but,
Well, they've got a better bassist now.
Oh, wow.
No. Like, for real, their bassist is miles better than I am. I say that with full confidence in my own abilities and the abilities of others. Like, I'm not saying I'm bad, I'm saying he's better.
And since we're plugging Austin local video game cover bands right now.
Oh, yeah.
What band are you in now?
I am still in Gimmick. We're actually about to play another show fairly soon, next week, actually. And
for those of you listening at home, it was like a year ago. You missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And, or maybe the show will end up infamous and we'll be like, this will be the podcast people listen to, like, oh, this is the... This is the podcast where he talked about the show, but not knowing what was going to happen.
Oh, man. So many dead. So many dead.
That's what I was thinking.
Gonna have our great white moment.
And then you also work with Super High Tops?
Yes, I started a funk-based video game cover band with actually 3 people who are also in the Returners. And Wedge, Kevin, and Justin.
I know Wedge. Wedge is good people.
Yeah, Wedge is great people. And she's actually the first person I asked.
He's a werewolf. Okay, never mind.
I don't know that our Kevin is not a werewolf.
Okay.
We
So
don't have proof.
We don't have proof either way.
Cannot prove either way.
I know that a lack of evidence is not evidence to the contrary, but still, you know, I'm gonna have to bring it up in band practice later this week.
Just stab him with something silver discreetly.
No, I'd rather not. Anyways, yeah, we do. We covered the entire Toe Jam and Earl soundtrack in one video that's 15 minutes long.
It's on YouTube. It's great.
It is on YouTube. And since then, we have covered some other things of much shorter length. And we are actually about to record a virtual show for an upcoming event that y'all, again, this comes out too late for me to actually plug the event. But we
Russ
have
and
more.
I can tweet about it, though.
Yeah.
Sure.
We have more songs coming up, more events coming up, and it's been great fun. So yeah, that's 2 more local video game bands that I'm in.
Great. Now that we've shamelessly plugged your talent,
Yeah, we'll just copy.
now let's use your talent.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We were talking about Lufia, and you were talking about... Oh, yeah, talking about the returners. Okay, so let's go back around to the actual video games. So, I always get nervous saying Japanese composer names, so I always have them open in front of me. But very famous... Like, if you know Lufia music, you should know this name, and that's Yasunori Shiono, who is the composer for the Lufia games that were made by Nevermore. I don't think that he did the 4th game, and I'm not even sure about his status on the 5th game, although the 5th game reuses his themes, so at least, you know, he definitely composed it all, if not arranged it as well. And actually also the 4th one borrows themes from these. But for the first 3 games, it was all Yasunori Shiono. And the first Lufia was actually his first Super Nintendo RPG to have composed. He had composed for PC games prior to that, but found the SNES to be a particular challenge. So, interestingly, if you listen to Lufia 1's, music and then go to Lufia 2, you can hear a palpable difference in what went in, the complexity and like the sound fonts. Lufia 1 is very bright. I would even, if I had to be critical, I would even say it's a little brash at times. It's also somewhat limited. Every dungeon basically has the same theme. The overworld has the one theme. Battles have the 2, well, it's 3 themes. Yeah, I think it's 3 themes for the battles. I'm not actually good at music.
He's just the best we could afford.
Yeah, exactly. But where Shiono shines is that the dude can just kill it with the melody every time. Like, there's something that will get you into one of his songs, and even if you don't like the song, you'll at least remember it. So yeah, the first Lufia, very bright. I think that the main highlights that will drive this home is the town theme, which is one of my favorite RPG town themes. It's just so... and I mean the main town theme. There's actually a couple of different ones. And the shop theme, which is just in your face as you get.
Yeah, the shop theme is really where it's at.
Yeah, it's music that is so parade-like. It's just like, how does this even exist outside of this video game?
It really puts you in the mood during Lufia's shopping spree.
Yeah.
When you get to the port town.
Exactly.
And she goes crazy in the department store.
Yes. Because women be shopping, right?
That is right, yeah.
What's great about it, too, is that the game is aware of this because the characters dance while you're shopping. Yeah. I mean, how many other... you got the Final Fantasy thing where sometimes if a character can equip something, they'll be doing their fist pump or something. But it's like, this one, they're just straight up, like, doing a can while you're sitting here trying to interpret what you're looking at.
Right.
Like, what's a brone? What the heck is a brone, and why do I need a whole suit of it? Of course, the place where the Lufia themes, and this is most RPGs anyway, but I mean, definitely true for Lufia, where the themes really, really shine are the fighting themes. Now, Shiono has been on record himself saying that he made the loop for the first Lufia battle theme way too short, so it's mostly a bass solo. with a guitar solo and then it loops. Considering that fights aren't really all that long in this game, it's not a sin or anything like that. But yeah, he definitely amped it up by a lot, but before he got to Lufia 2. But Lufia 1 also has one of my very favorite boss themes in all of video game music. It's just so good.
Yeah.
Like, I always look forward to a freaking boss theme.
Oh, yeah.
Even though the bosses sometimes aren't intimidating enough to match it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like specific examples, but that's what you get. I'm sure y'all talked about the bosses at some point.
Presumably
we did.
I'm trying to remember that
I
review.
just
It was
agree
one of the
that-
first reviews that we did.
Yeah, it was. That Sinistral boss theme is just
Oh yeah,
where it's at.
yeah.
for me.
The Sinistral boss theme just incredible. That kind of goes into Lufia 2 a little bit. They expanded like the different boss themes, incorporated the themes from Lufia 1 as well, which is kind of great. That's what I love when a composer works on more than one game in a series, is that sometimes you have overlap. Where Lufia 2 overlaps 1 is that it has an overworld theme that is so similar to the first game that you think it's the same theme, but it's actually not. It is melodically almost perfectly like the first one, but it's like if you listen to one after the other, then you're like, oh, this is actually a different melody. So yeah, with Lufia 1 and 2, there's a lot of like little things that overlap kind of thing. The other thing is that famously, so the other thing that Shiono excels at, again, being a melody master, on top of a bass enthusiast, which I really appreciate as a bassist myself, the kind of love theme, like the dude is amazing at love themes. And the one in the first game is called Prifia Flowers, because it's, it has to do with Lufia and, the budding relationship between her and the only unnamed protagonist, or the only unnamed character in the entire 5-game series.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only character that you have to name, and that has no default name. So her and Maxim Jr.,
Yeah.
as they, if they have scenes together, then the song that plays is called Prifia Flowers, and it's very, very pretty. It's so perfectly used at the end of Lufia 2 after the credits. They bring it back,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a remix of it, but it sounds enough like the original that you're like, oh, I know what's going on here, even though I can't see it. Or you can see it, you can see Lufia, but it's like, yeah. Tying both games together, which really is why I think people treat Lufia 1 and 2 like it is a series, and then 3, 4, and 5 are just completely different things, even though 3 follows the continuity as well.
Mm-hmm.
4 does bring in another character, but we're not talking about 4
we haven't
quite
gotten
yet.
to 4 yet.
Yeah.
Don't spoil me on 4.
I won't. But
It's the
when
best
y'all-
one, right?
When y'all go to talk about 4, definitely bring me back for that. I'll have words for that game. So Lufia 2, you can definitely, like I said, you can hear the kind of maturity that kind of goes into like those arrangements a little bit more. There's more variety in dungeon themes, even though it does kind of settle in on that one that you hear constantly in the ancient cave, the one that just kind of plods along like dun 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 doo dee doo dee doo dee doo dee doo dee doo dee.
This is why we bring in the expert.
Yeah, exactly. I try not to.
Our
sing
new
too much.
side quest. Chris sings JRPG side soundtracks. I'm excited.
I could do it, but I spent so much time in the ancient cave that I had to do it once. But yeah, Lufia 2 brings in more like kind of fully formed songs. Rather than short loops that are just, good melodies that you just hear over and over again. A few notable examples are the wedding and the montage of a full year passing after the wedding is all just this one piece of music that goes in all these different directions and never comes back.
Yeah.
It's like the summer theme where Solana's talking about a bikini. I can't remember because it's a little muddied by the DS remake, which takes it in a whole different direction. But basically, when they're talking about going swimming and stuff, like that summer theme never comes back.
Yeah.
And of course, the tearjerker theme, which is the ending credits. Shiono literally was directed that when he created that song, it just needs to make people cry.
And it worked.
It worked.
I love that as a directive.
Yeah, almost too well. But yeah, like I said, you get into the battle themes. 2 has, like I said, the standouts really is Battle 1, 2, and 3 in that one. The 3 one being the Sinistral battle theme, which everybody just, goes completely nuts over. Then we get Lufia, The Legend Returns, which is the Game Boy Color game for which he wrote, I think it's track by track, the longest soundtrack.
Wow.
I would never have thought that would be the case.
Right. It's because it's a little bit more subtle, and the fact that it's Game Boy Color means that it's 8-bit, so he actually had to step down from doing complex, 16-bit arrangements to then figuring out how to get the same effect from having just the 4 channels. And it is actually my single favorite Game Boy Color soundtrack. One of my favorite 8-bit soundtracks. It's up there for me. It is, I know it's something like 100 tracks or something like that. I'd have to look it up.
What?
I'm going to look it up while I'm talking here. But,
what? I can't process this information.
Hang on. Why did nobody save a OST playlist for this freaking game? Okay, we're back. It has been...
You need to learn your Golden Girls there.
Apparently.
It has been a couple of days now, but I finally found I finally confirmed 101 songs in the soundtrack.
Wow.
Dang.
I never would have imagined that, and I played that game and loved it.
And I mean, some of them are a little bit similar, but the thing about Lufia, The Legend Returns is that there is a different song for just about every town. There's a different song for most of the dungeons. There are like 5 different battle themes, and there are differing overworld themes as you progress in the game. As you go to different continents, there's a different overworld theme, and it's all a bop. It's like, holy jeez, like when you sit there and listen to like some of these songs, like the second town you go into, I'm blanking on the name, but it's just got this funky beat to it. The town of Marjorie, I think it's Marjorie, something like that. It's like the third town you run into. It's just this quiet, pastoral kind of like fluty song, and just going on and on. And like the dungeon themes are different kinds of like, that's where I think a lot of people do get a little confused, is because they do kind of have a little bit of that same driving beat to it, where it kind of has this drony bass line. But then they each bring in like different melodies and different little fills that come in, and just like really clever stuff like that. And then you get to like the boss theme, and it's just like this crazy metal song with like guitar solos all over the place. If you interpret it that way.
Yeah, 8-bit guitar solos.
Yeah, it's 8-bit, so you can't really, tell. Far and away in Lufia, The Legend Returns, it contains my favorite song in the entire series, and that's including the tearjerker ending to like Lufia 2. And that it's called To the Ocean, and it is a song that plays when you're on a boat. And
I'm on a boat.
Yeah.
Is that the song?
Yeah.
Am I remembering it correctly? Do you want to sing the song to us?
I actually don't know the song.
Okay.
But yeah, To the Ocean is, you take over this kind of ship and go after some pirates and stuff, and then it plays when you're on the upper deck, but then it later, when you get a boat to travel around in, it becomes the boat theme. And it's just this magnificent melody that just switches between like kind of a upbeat, like, really heroic theme, and then it gets a little bit melancholy. It's like a little bit emotional. And it's just like, this is too good to be just the boat theme. It's like, why is this song here? It's, like I said, Lufia The Legend Returns is deceptively one of the meatiest and best, I think, Game Boy soundtracks. And the game is so overlooked that I totally know why, everybody missed it. But even amongst, like I said, amongst Lufia fans, they should definitely listen to that one, because I think it is, to me, the standout. But
And 103 tracks. Bang for your buck, man.
yeah, exactly. And but I mean, again, I do, if somebody prefers Lufia 2, that's totally understandable. In Lufia 1, like I said, because there's fewer tracks, but they're so out there and like kind of iconic. And again, because dude was working with, his limited knowledge of making these sound fonts, he came up with some really good sounds, and it kind of has that sound of effort as far as it goes. But yeah, that's just about it for those games.
Well, thank you. Now we have to go through our back catalog and pull out more games for you to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the music of Great Greed and Arcana.
Review number 1.
Yeah.
I actually can talk about both of those.
Well, there we go. So Chris Taylor will return.
It will return.
As long as we can afford him. we pay him in chips.
Got him right here.
This has become an ASMR podcast. Thank you.
boy.
Okay, no, we're out. Thank you for listening. We'll see you later. Bye. Thank you for being
a friend. Traveled down the road and back again.
Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if I threw a party, invited everyone you know, you would see the biggest gift would be for me, and the card attached would read, thank you for being a friend. Da, 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 da.